Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking about my votes for the Game Awards. I have some thoughts, I have some opinions. I tried to do this video once, it didn't work. It seems like the website was smashed up days ago, so we're going to try and do it today. So I've already did best game direction. So let's start here. I'll tell you why I've done my pick and we'll go through them. We're going to do the actual game of the year nominee last, and I'm going to ignore some of the categories because I just don't care. So best game direction. So this is a weird category that I think is just odd. So the idea is outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction design. And the reason I went for Split Fiction is Clair Obscura is just your standard sort of JRPG inspired stuff. That's not to say that that's not a knock against the game, but I don't think that game does anything that's meant to be like innovating in the way that I think this category is meant to be. Death Stranding 2 is a sequel. It might do, but again, it's a sequel. Same with Ghost of Yotei. Hades 2 is also a sequel. And I know Split Fiction and those games have the premise of, similar to the previous games, it's co-op and stuff. But because this is the only game on here that focuses primarily on co-op, so that's my vote on that one, basically. Alright, best narrative. For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, what have we got? We've got Clair Obscura, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. I've only played one of these games, and that's Clair Obscura. I don't know what the narrative in any of these other games is. So I really and truthfully, I guess my only vote is going to be Clair Obscura. I do like the story in this game. I don't think... The problem with the story in this game is that the initial premise is really cool. What the game ends up and the direction it ends up going is less interesting than what the game starts off being. And to be honest, I kind of like the characters that you're in your party are really interesting, and some of the other elements aren't so much. So I don't even know if I would consider it but it is the only game I've played, so I guess it's getting my vote for this one. Right, best art direction. For outstanding creative or technical achievement in artistic design and animation, I'll be honest, I think Mario Kart World should be in this. I think Mario Kart World has that fun, squidgy sort of Pixar kind of animation. I think that's kind of been snubbed because Clair Obscura, nice looking game, but the art style is not the thing you think of necessarily when I played it. There's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't say that's the standout point in this game. Death Stranding 2, I haven't seen enough of it. Ghost of Yotei I've seen a bit of, looks very similar to the previous game. Hades 2 is probably where my vote would go. It would be Silksong or Hades 2. I've not played either of these games, but these games at least have a very defined art style. I don't think these three are they look good. It's not that they look bad, but I wouldn't say they stand out. I'm actually going to give it to Hades 2 because I just think the game, even though I haven't played it, what I've seen of the gameplay looks pretty decent. Best score music. Okay, we got to talk about this category and how this is just there's just an obvious thing missing from this, and this is something that really, really bothers me. Where is Mario Kart World? Mario Kart World has over 200 tracks in terms of music. It's all played by a live band. Where is it? Where is it? I can't imagine I'll be much of a fan of this. I think it's very orchestrated, I'm not sure. Hades 2, if it's anything like the first game, it'll be pretty good. Clair Obscura is the most... This game has some incredible highs in the music, but some of it's really bland. I do think Lorien Testard is really good, but I don't know the soundtrack for this. I don't know the soundtrack for this. And, as much as Clair Obscura has probably my favourite piece of music from the year, this is definitely a soundtrack that it's good. I wouldn't say it's Game of the Year material, unfortunately. I think there's too many tracks that aren't consistent enough. Yes, it's personal opinion. I completely understand that. Too many singing tracks. The stuff that stands out, Monoko's theme, Ancient Sanctuary, Globu, the water area, some stuff amazing. And then the second act is all just really samey. So... knowing this is the only soundtrack I've heard, I don't consider this to be Game of the Year. Donkey Kong Bonanza, Mario Kart World, where's Tempest Rising? That soundtrack's incredible as well. That's not even voted on here. So, for the sake of just guessing, I'm gonna give it to Hades 2. I really, really, really am super disappointed that Mario Kart World isn't involved in that. It's my opinion. There's nothing. Mario Kart World is the best soundtrack that's come out this year. There's nothing better than it. Even though, like, I think I prefer Donkey Kong. When you actually break down what Mario Kart World has for the audio, incredible, incredible music. All right, what have we got here? Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. I've not. Again, the only problem is that I've only played one of these games, and I wouldn't say that the sound effects are particularly standout. Bear in mind, I did enjoy Clair Obscura. I just don't know if it's like, I don't think, because of the issues I have with it, that it's Game of the Year, or like a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna give it to Silent Hill F because it's a horror game. I haven't played it, will never play it, but best performance. Okay, now all of these people are probably winners. Ben Starr, phenomenal. Charlie Cox is phenomenal. In fact, Charlie Cox is my favourite character in Clair Obscura. Jennifer English does a phenomenal job. Troy Baker's always good. This lady, I'm not going to put Kato here, does a good job. And then goes to Yota, I have no idea. I'm going to give it to Charlie Cox, just based on the fact that I just really like his character in Clair Obscura. And he does a phenomenal job in that. Innovation in accessibility, recognizing software and or hardware that was pushing the medium forward and adding features. South of Midnight was pretty good for this. So South of Midnight I've played. FIFA, I honestly don't know, or EA Sports FC. Doom, the original two Doom games had some incredible accessibility options, so I expect that's the same. I don't remember what South of Midnight does, but I think it's like audio based. I could be wrong. Atomfall and Assassin's Creed, I have no idea. I am going to give it to South of Midnight because I think this game is going to get massively overlooked, and it was actually pretty good. But when I played it, I really enjoyed it, and there was definitely a lot of options to pick from. But accessibility is like huge. Alright, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message, I really don't. I never feel like I'm qualified to vote on this category. I have no idea about any of these games other than South of Midnight. I really like the story in South of Midnight. I kind of like what it does and where it goes, and because it's the only game I played, it's getting my vote. The other ones I have no idea. Best ongoing, so live service. Outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player's experience over time. So we've got Final Fantasy 14, I think it is, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, No Man's Sky. I kind of like, even though I've absolutely ragged on No Man's Sky, like the updates I see of it now, this game looks incredible. I always want to give it to Helldivers 2, but I think at this point, how much they've turned around this game, like I think No Man's Sky is getting my vote just based on what I've seen of the updates of recently. Best community support. So this is just what community transparency, responsiveness, inclusive social media activity, game updates and patches. Why is DRG never on this? Like, DRG should be in this category. We've got one of the best communities. This is an interesting one because I honestly don't know. I'm just going to give it to No Man's Sky. It's not something I really... best independent game. Outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional... Absalom, Bullcross Pit, Blueprints, Clair Obscura, Hades 2... Oh my god, this category is nuts. If this is going to win Game of the Year, I don't want this to win Best Independent Game. I think these three deserve some love. I've heard good things about this, I've heard good things about this, and I've heard good things about this. These games obviously as well. This is like a roguelike beat 'em up. This is like Javanoid or whatever, Arkanoid kind of style game, but like with guns and things. This is a puzzle game, like roguelike. These three are probably going to win other categories. So out of that principle, and just because of what this is, I'm going to give the Bullcross Pit because it looks like a crazy game and it's sort of the game I would play. Best debut indie game. Oh, they've taken thingy off. They've actually taken Megabonk off. Huh. So they've got Desperate. I don't know what this is. This is that weird Telltale style game, isn't it, with the choices. Clair Obscura again. Okay, best debut indie. Like, fair enough. Like, I think it'll win that, but don't win. We'll get to my thoughts on nominees for all categories in a minute, but I think in this point I'm going to give this to Blueprints. This was talked about a lot. It probably deserves for a starting game. All right, best mobile game. I honestly don't play mobile games. I'm just going to give it to Sonic Rumble because I don't know any of the others other than like maybe Persona. We'll just skip on that one. Best VR AR: Alien Rogue Incursion, Arkham Age, Ghost Town, Marvel's Deadpool VR, Midnight Walk. Again, I have no idea. I'm just gonna vote for Marvel here, or Deadpool, because I like that and know that. Best action game: best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. That's meant to be good. That's meant to be good. That's meant to be good. People weren't so highly on this game, but I don't know. This is meant to be good. I think it's a toss-up between this and this. I think I'm going to give it to Shinobi Art of Vengeance, because that's a game that I definitely want to... I mean, that and Doom I really want to play. I also want to play Ninja Gaiden 4. In fact, Battlefield 6 I probably wouldn't play, but these other 4 games I would, and probably enjoy all 4 of them. I'm going to give it to Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Best action adventure. Where's Donkey Kong? For best action adventure game combining combat with traverse and puzzle solving. Where's Donkey Kong? Literally the best game out this year. Oh my god. This is why I hate the Game Awards. I just think that there's some obvious things here that games don't need to be like... I'll come to that in a minute. I'm going to give it to Indiana Jones. Came out last year, but best RPG. Avowed, Clair Obscura, Kingdom Come, Monster Hunter, Outer Worlds 2. I honestly don't know. Again, the problem is this... When you have a game that wins the Game of the Year, should it also be winning other categories, or should they be for, spread out as much as possible? I'm going to give it to Avowed. I've not played Avowed. It's on my list. Going to get to it. Best Fighting: 2XKO, Capcom Fighting 2, Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter. I'm going to give it to Fatal Fury. Not played it. I've watched a ton of gameplay though, and the game looks amazing. Something I need to get to next year. Best Family: Donkey Kong, Lego Party, Lego Voyages, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Crossroads, Split Fiction. It's got to be Donkey Kong. Mario Kart World is really good, but it's not the game that I think it needed to be. This is meant to be good. This is meant to be good. This looks funny. I don't know much about Lego Voyages. It's getting DK. It's my favourite game of the year. Best Sim Strategy. There is one winner here. Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, looks pretty good. Jurassic World 3, I don't know what that is. I think that's like you run a park. Civ 7 definitely does not deserve it, considering the state it came out. Tempest Rising is where my vote's going. That game is incredible. The Alters, I don't know what that is. And then 2 Point Museum, which they probably also deserve it. But Tempest Rising is the best RTS to come out in years. Like, it's so good. Absolutely. Do you know what? Forget about the rest of the categories. That's the one I want it to win. Sports Racing. Mario Kart World, because it's the only one I played, and it is a good game. Best multiplayer. I haven't played any of these, but it's got to be Peak. They deserve it. I like it when smaller games have that. Best adaptation. Don't know about that. Like, that was meant to be alright. That's meant to be like, yeah. I haven't seen that. I don't know. Definitely not Last of Us, if I could speak properly. I'm going to give it to Splinter Cell, because I like it. I haven't seen any of them. So, some of these categories are kind of just random. Most anticipated game. I mean, it's clearly going to be Grand Theft Auto, even though it's been delayed again. To be honest, it's crossed between Wolverine and 007 for me, because those are the 2 games I'd be most interested in playing. I've not even played Witcher 3 yet, so I'm going to give it to 007, because I don't think it'll win, but it deserves the votes. Content creator. I don't know, apart from like Moist Critical, I don't know about the rest of them. So what I'm going to do is, because at this point, if we go back to view all categories, content creator, esports, nobody, like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to waste time on it. So let's talk Game of the Year, because this is what's really important. All of these games up here seem like they have fairly big fan bases across the board. Alright, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an interesting choice. I know the first one is really well liked. I don't know much about the second one. I assume it is just as well liked. Hollow Knight Silksong. Obviously, I didn't like the first Hollow Knight game. I think there's a lot of potential gameplay issues wrong with it. I'm not sure if I would like Silksong, but it has a huge fan base and people seem very happy with the game. Hades 2, I mean, it's Supergiant. They don't seem to ever miss. The first Hades is a very, very good game. It has a few issues, but it's a very good game. I imagine this is good. Donkey Kong Bonanza is my personal game of the year. Death Stranding 2, I have no idea. I really have no idea about this. And then Clair Obscura, which I think most people can... I actually think it's going to be a toss-up between Clair Obscura and Hollow Knight. So there's 2 things here. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I think Clair Obscura is an 8 out of 10. I think it's a great game. Personally, I don't think it is a game of the year game, and the reason for that is that obviously I had a lot of issues playing the game, which impacted my experience with it. I think the game does its story starts off very strong. I think it gets weaker later on. I think the characters are one of the best parts of the game. I think the gameplay is fairly good, but I do find there's a lot of the combat and stuff slows the game. The boss fights especially slow the game down massively. When you have to wait 40 to 50 seconds sometimes for a boss to do an animation, it's a lot of sitting around doing, like, waiting for things to finish, and obviously dodging and things. I think had the boss fights not been so slow and time consuming, I think I'd feel higher on the game. I have no issue. I want to make this clear. If this game wins, which it probably will, good for them. It's a smallish team of 30 people in the main team, obviously other teams helping. There's a lot of people that worked on it. It probably deserves all that. But you could say the same about every single one of these games. I know nothing about Death Stranding 2, so I'm not sure on that one. But for me personally, the reason why Donkey Kong Bonanza is my pick for Game of the Year is Nintendo is still the kings of platforming. It's one of the best platforming games, like, recently, in terms of how Donkey Kong handles and how you get around the environment. The levels and things, that some of the challenges are very creative. The game is an improvement on the Odyssey style. Now you have, like, you twist it up for DK. The story's fun. I think when it comes to platformers, like, I'm sure Hollow Knight is a very good Metroidvania and a very good platformer. It ain't gonna be on the level of this. Like, I know one's 3D and one's 2D, but I just think, like, Nintendo, I've never played a platformer that Nintendo, like, Super Mario Bros. 3 is still the best platformer ever made, right? Like, in terms of just how it handles, like, no game handles like that. To be honest, if any of these games win, like, they probably deserve it. I think these two probably deserve it because of the smaller teams and, like, what they do. Even my thoughts on, like, feelings on the first game, like, I would have no issue with this winning. I'd have no issue with this winning as well, but I'd like to see something left field. My other issue is that when you have a game that's nominated for, like, 12 categories, I think games need to be limited to no more than 3 categories, for the simple reason, and that's nothing against Clair Obscura, right? It deserves a lot of the praise it gets. I think this Games Awards should be trying to give as many games that came out this year across the board a chance to win something, right? To really put those games on the map. Like Silksong, for example, nominated for, Game of the Year, action game, and, I don't know, soundtrack. Don't do it for anything else. Same with Clair Obscura. We're going to do RPG Game of the Year and, I don't know, soundtrack. But everything else needs to be, like, every game needs to be limited to no more than 3 categories. I think that's the biggest issue I have with some of the games here. They're across too many categories. It's obviously the same in the past. It's just obviously a bigger thing right now that these games are getting nominated for, all these categories. Having said that, though, Donkey Kong Bonanza is my one. And so now you can see all of the ones that I voted on for all the categories because it highlights it. DK for Game of the Year, Split Fiction for Best Game Direction, Clair Obscura for Best Narrative, Art Direction to Hades 2, Score and Music to Hades 2, Best Audio to Silent Hill F, Best Performance to Charlie Cox, South of Midnight for Innovation in Accessibility, South of Midnight for Games for Impact, No Man's Sky for Ongoing, No Man's Sky for Best Community, Bullcross Pit for Best Indie Game, Blueprints for First Indie Game, Sonic Rumble for Mobile, Deadpool for Best VR, the Shinobi for Best Action Game, Indiana Jones for Best Action Adventure, Avowed for Best RPG, City of the Wolves for Fighting, DK for Best Family, Tempest Rising. I think this is the one that is more important to me than any other category. This game deserves to win for Best Sim Strategy. Mario Kart for Best Sports Racing, Peak for Best Multiplayer, Splinter Cell for Best Adaptation, and then 007 for that. So there you go. There are my thoughts and feelings on the Game Awards. I'm sure people are going to get very annoyed at my thoughts and processes on Clair Obscura, but so be it. Go and vote. Go and get your things out there. Let's discuss. Let's talk about that in the comments. Why do you think X game is, deserving of being Game of the Year or any of these categories? But that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. And until next video, I will see you then.